This would be typical of heading out to a winter show back in the 80s. And I know Helix is going to be playing Stuck in the 80s today at the album release party here at the East Side Bar and Grill. This is the album release party for Scrap Metal. So stay tuned, people. Lots of cool stuff coming your way today. That's Pretty Poison. That is another song off. That's track number 3, I believe, off Scrap Metal that is due to come out January 26th. January 23rd. My mistake. January 23rd, Friday. This Friday, we've got the guy that came up with an idea, and he was going to put out an album. I think that was the original plan, but we'll talk about that tonight, where this morphed from, because it morphed into an album, and it's got a great collection of Helix music, probably one of the best works the band has done to date. And we're going to find out, because it's already like a top 80 seller on Amazon. There's a whole lot of great stuff going on with this album, and I'm not going to, waylay this any longer. We've got Brian Vollmer in the wings. Brian is the front man and the guy that is the glue. He's stuck in the 80s with glue, like glue. And he's kept the name Helix alive all these years. Here we are 5 decades later, and he's war-torn, but he's a fucking really wise guy, too. Here he is, Brian Vollmer.
How you doing, Ken?
I'm doing great, buddy. Great to have you here from the sunny South.
Yeah, I'm down in Fort Myers, Florida, where we live in the wintertime.
You're not missing anything. When you went back, the weather here was shit, man.
It was brutal.
Another foot of snow.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how much of snow last week.
Yeah, we've had a lot of snow fall this year, way more than usual. And it was really funny. One of my motorcycle
global warming.
Yeah, right. One of my motorcycle buddies said to me, he said, I think this winter is going to be really harsh. He said, I think we got spoiled this summer. There we go. Paying for it now.
Global warming.
We got a great album here. We have a great album that's already tracking really well.
Yes, it's 80 now on Amazon. We're asking all our American fans to pick up a CD through Paris Records. That way it shows up, because that's the American Amazon heavy metal.
Right, whatever. Right. There's a lot of really, really great songs on that album, and some of those were songs that were originally maybe nixed by the record label back in the day.
I don't think so. Those were all B-sides. Mixed, you mean?
Yeah,
mixed.
No.
Well, the record company didn't really hear them. They were written mostly in the practice hall down in Kitchener and Braddock Street, and some of them just never made it to record. We had other stuff for whatever reason. I think that the arrangement changes we did and the lyric rewrites definitely improved the songs, and of course the production of Aaron and Murray and Daryl Gray, my bass player. So that made a big difference.
What a great produced album! I mean, you guys had some challenges coming up with some of the tracks, because you guys were going off old demos too, right?
Yeah, so some of them we kept parts of the demos. So the ones we didn't, though, we just basically traced what was already there. We went over the top of it and then got rid of what originally was there. So, but they were difficult to sing, but I was pretty happy with myself that I was able to get up that high and sing those songs.
Yeah, I mean, there's some really, really interesting stories behind the songs. And one of the things that you and I started doing a while back, and in publishing the songs digitally now, we're putting a little bit of a story, a very short story behind the track, and it's embedded in the track now. So this is something new that I'm doing in the digital world. And so give me an example of a song that's on that album, Brian, and I'll read the commentary that you gave me.
Well, Pretty Poison.
Pretty Poison. All right, let me find it here on here. Okay, here, Pretty Poison. This is a very short description, but it's, I believe, in the actual song as well. A beautiful girl I once met with a body like a limousine who liked to bite. There's a rock and roll story behind that one.
Yeah, I don't want to elaborate not too much. I'll let your imagination run wild.
You know, who's to say these songs don't come from some level of personal experience and things that happened to you on the road? You guys had a lot of unusual things happen to you on the road, right?
All the time.
Yeah. Didn't you guys have a bass player that changed directions in the world of the universe and left the band?
You talking about Mike Uselak?
I'm thinking that's the name. Yeah.
Mike became a born again Christian just when we were going to get signed to Capitol Records, and he left the band. He actually wanted us to change that album cover, and then the guy we got to replace him, a person named Pete Guy, he couldn't get across the border when we played with Motorhead after the Masonic Temple in Toronto. And so we had to get Mike back. So we flew Mike down. And our first gig back was in Chicago at the Metro. And anybody that ever went to the Metro was a great, big, huge black box, basically, just down from Wrigley Field. And we had about a foot and a half of stage. When we went on, there was a gauntlet of arms banging on the stage going, "Fuck off, Motorhead, Motorhead, fuck off."
Right.
And we had to step over the arms to get to the center of the stage. I look back at Mike, the born again Christian, who was pasted against his amp in horror. And I looked over at Brett and I said, "Play." And we did everything about twice the speed that it was meant to be played. And we invented speed metal that night.
Oh man, some really, I mean, embodied in some of these songs are stories inside the songs. I think there was one that you and I had talked about. Oh, yeah, this is the one. I was gonna flip it here. So Fast and Furious, okay? So second track on the song. You guys played that at the live show on Sunday, and you guys killed it. I loved it.
Thanks.
Lots of energy.
Well, that song came about after several Motorhead tours, so we were probably heavily influenced by Lemmy, and
Right.
still a Motorhead fan to this day. Loved the band, and Lemmy was great. Treated us great, and you know, you're just when you write, it's a product of what's around you. And
Right.
in the early days of the band, it was because we were a roving jukebox, traveling from bar to bar, so we did a lot of commercial stuff, and that came through in our music. And it was kind of all over the place for the first two independent albums, but so was our show in the bars at that point of our career. We were doing everything from Bay City Rollers to Aerosmith to Ted Nugent. So the original material was a reflection of that. So this song, Fast and Furious, was probably a reflection of some of the bands we were playing with at that point of our career.
Yeah, I mean, your commentary in there, and this is the story in there. So this is one of the things that you can find if you download the digital album. You'll find information like this. So Brian says in this statement, and it's embedded in the track, it says, Helix always wanted to write heavier songs, but management kept trying to steer us towards a more commercial sound. You want to comment on that one?
Well, you know, the record company and our management, obviously they wanted the band to sell albums. In Canada, because of the huge distances between cities, it's a lot harder to be, how shall we say, have an individual sound, because at that time we had to fit in with what was playing on the radio, or you didn't get airplay. And if you didn't get airplay, then nobody knew about you and nobody bought your record. So I think they were pushing us to get more commercial sounding because they wanted us to fit on radio in Canada,
right?
So we could sell more albums. Simple as that. But in actuality, we were much more of an American band, sound-wise. And if you listen to No Rest for the Wicked, it sounds more American than any Canadian band out at that time.
Yeah, I mean, you and I have gone through this process, and we're in the process of re-releasing a whole bunch of Helix classic tunes all the way up to the present catalog, because our goal was to get it all under one digital roof, so to speak. And in doing so, I discovered a lot of things about you guys as a band that's made me even appreciate your music that much more as a listener. And one of those things is the fact that you guys have evolved in so many different ways, your sound. And it's changed with every piece of alumni that you've had that's joined the band.
Yes, and any band that's been around for as long as Helix, which is 51 years, you're going to go through all sorts of different musical changes and ups and downs. And if you look at, say, Neil Young, he had an album out with the
Right.
Flamingos, I think it was, where they were doing doo-wop type of stuff. But we had Business Doing Pleasure, which really was supposed to be my solo album, and then later on we started to go back towards what we originally started as. So I just like writing songs, and I don't really think too much about the how should I say, the sound. I just know what I like, and that's what I write.
Right. So a couple of comments here from the chat room. Jenny says, hello from London, Canada. Two of the best guys, Ken and Brian. You guys are awesome.
That's nice. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jenny. Steve Creep says, I actually wore my Helix t-shirt at my gig on Monday. So you're getting swag out there for guys that are playing in bands wearing Helix t-shirts. How cool is that?
Very cool. And we just finished the Nazareth tour in October, as you know, and one of the biggest comments we got at the merch booth after the show was we have people showing up that had followed the band for 50 years, and they were bringing out their sons and daughters, and those kids were all Helix fans because their parents had turned them on to Helix music when they were very young, and that continued as they grew up.
Sean Kelly says, the man, the legend, and my brother. And the second comment is, Brian is a world-class songwriter.
Well, so is Sean. And for those of you that don't know who Sean is, he plays guitar for Lee Aaron. He's played for Nelly Furtado, Gilby Clarke, Klaus Tiger, just everybody. He's a great guitar player.
He's played for Helix.
Played for Helix. He can play any type of. Actually, he played the bass when he was in the band. Believe it or not. Believe it or not.
Well, he played bass in a band called the Spodes too.
Yeah. But Sean and I, we get, when we get together, we write very quickly, which is a good sign that the relationship's working well.
Did I hear that there was?
Rather than,
Did I hear that there was at least one song written on this visit and another one kind of fleshed out? Was I hearing that?
Yeah, we started a new song. I drove up on the Monday. I forget what day it was, the 11th or the 12th. But I drove up to Toronto, and I remembered why I don't like Toronto because it's hard driving in that city. But by the time I got there, I was burnt out, and Sean was burnt out from teaching all day long at Coalition. He teaches guitar there, and we sat down. At first, it was moving slow, and then all of a sudden, we came upon a song. We got a really, really good chorus. And so now that we're working on that song, we have a couple songs that we wrote over the past couple of years and never finished off. We're going to finish them as well. And we're working already for the next album.
I feel another album coming down the pipe here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm always writing. This album came about. I just went to the folder where I had all my songs. I started going through them and trying to match songs up with one another, see which ones fit and which ones didn't.
Right.
And that's how we originally started on the whole project, was because Sean and I had a song called Stuck in the 80s. And we had all these demos from the 80s. And then we had all these albums like B-Sides, Half Alive, Old School, that really hadn't sold a lot of units, which had some great songs on it. And so we decided we were going to redo these demos that we never released way back in the late 80s. And so we went in the studio with Aaron Murray and with Daryl, and things just started to really come out sounding great. And things happen for a reason, and they happen at a time when they're supposed to happen. And that's how the album came about. But getting back to your original question, I always have songs in the can. There's always stuff. I love writing. That's why I got into the business in the first place. And, I have some songs I wrote with my buddy, Tony Palashi, who used to be in 7 Year Itch. So a couple really good tracks there. And the nice thing is I have my solo albums and I have my Helix album. So if something doesn't seem to fit, maybe a Helix, maybe it'll fit on a solo album. Doesn't matter to me. It's all when you write songs, you're like your little babies, you know.
I got my signed copy here, and it's also signed by Gary Borden. Tell me about that significance, that relationship.
Well, Gary's been in the band on and off over the years. We've had some great players over the band's career, and Gary plays for Sash Jordan now, and he also has his own band called Van Gogh, and he's always writing too. So we'll probably get together this summer and see if we can kick out a song.
Oh, you know what? You know what? We've been talking about getting him on the show.
You should. Nice guy.
Why don't you come on? Why don't you come on the show with me, Gary, and help me interview Gary?
Help me interview Gary?
Yeah, that would be kind of fun because you and him would get into a conversation.
You're trying to corner me now.
Anyways, Dan Diggins says, great show the other night, Brian. I have the utmost respect for you and the guys in Helix. It's great to see how much dedication you guys put into your careers.
Well, Dan's another guy that was in the band. He was in the acoustic show, and he's played with Daryl and Kirby Dogs. And, you know, we always seem to end up with some really nice people in the band. Personality-wise, we don't need any ego trips. And if somebody doesn't fit in, they don't last long in Helix.
Right.
We just kind of politely ask them to leave.
You had a new addition to your team back in 1984, I believe it was, when somebody under the same management company came and auditioned with you guys.
Are you talking about Daryl?
Yeah.
That's when Daryl joined. Yeah, Daryl was with the Allison Flight. And when Mike Uselak left, we needed a bass player. And so he was a natural go-to guy because first off, everybody that came to the Bill Sipe organization kind of ended up thinking the same way. We had the same type of professional ethics, which is honesty, hard work, and all that corny stuff. And Daryl was friends with the band already, so he seemed like a natural fit for Helix. And he joined the band, and he's been with us pretty much ever since.
Now, he was playing in another band called Tracy Kane.
Tracy Kane, sorry, I got the wrong band.
Yeah. So Tracy Kane, and I saw Tracy Kane about the same time I saw you guys, and they were under Bill Sipe management too, right?
Yes, and I think they had an album or two out, so.
Yeah, and I think Tracy Kane was kind of winding down or something, and I think someone suggested to Daryl, look, at Helix is looking for a bassist. You should go check it out. That's the story I heard. I think that was the one Daryl told me, actually.
Yeah, Daryl fit in very well.
Yeah, and he's been an instrumental part of the band kind of all along, but even more so in these days, right?
Yeah, we call him the practice Nazi.
I don't think you just broke every political.
He's a music guy, so when we have practices and get-togethers, he makes sure that the songs are learned the way they were recorded. Especially bands that have been together 50 years. You know, you can change a little bit every night, and suddenly the songs become unrecognizable. So Daryl's there when people start to get off the beaten track with maybe a guitar part they're doing or a harmony. He makes sure that they're exact. And we listen to we tape ourselves every night, and we listen to the tape of the live show. So we're always correcting ourselves. And we take great pride in sounding good and having everything learned correctly and sounding good. Nobody goes on stage wired, you know, or drunk or anything like that. And that's a big no-no.
And that's always been the work ethic of the band since basically its inception, right?
Yeah, there's a time for fun and there's a time for partying your ass off.
And you did lots of that too.
We did lots of that too.
But
you know, we're up on stage. We have an obligation to put on a good show for the fans, and that doesn't include falling off the stage.
I think it's time to put together a video off one, using one of these tracks on the album of Helix's craziest moments. I'm sure you've got lots of those captured on film.
I have tons and tons and tons of footage, everything from Super 8 to mini disc, Sony mini disc to videotape to, nowadays it's off the phone. So
I've seen some of the evidence, and I've seen the smoking gun, and there's some
well, I
bodies.
used to put together a yearly film that I'd show at Christmas supper
Right.
when we, when we got together at the end of the year, and everything was winding down, and I take the best, funniest clips of the year and put them all together. I still got a few of those around that we've never posted.
It was really interesting. Some of your top streamed songs were off your Mental Health Christmas album, A Very Mental Christmas. And yes. We've got Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree that's sitting at just shy of 1 million streams.
Wow. That album was put together by Gord Pryor primarily. Gord was the mastermind behind that. And we had I thought we did some great versions of some of those songs, and we really rocked it up. Kids loved that album. And we did a Christmas tour, which didn't really do that well. But after it was all said and done, the weather didn't help us out, though. Either it was like raining, I think, all the way through it. And then we had All I Want for Christmas Is the Leafs to Win the Cup. That was supposed to be our song.
Yeah.
And for the first time in NHL history, the NHL went on strike. So that didn't help either. But after it was all said and done, I thought, why did this tour do better? And I think I know the reason. And that's because it should have been for kids. It shouldn't have been for adults, because adults are bombarded with Christmas music by their kids at Christmas time, and they're sick of it.
Well, it's done really, really
next
well.
Next time around, I'll probably do it. If I do it again, I'll probably do it with acoustic guitars and do it for kids.
I'm thinking, as I think about this, that particular album doing well, and you and I talking about re-releases, I think we should do the re-release of that album just ahead of the Christmas season this year in 2026. So we should put that one on the schedule, I think.
Do that.
I think it'd be a great idea to do a re-release just ahead of the holiday season and really put a push on that album again. And I think we should really petition to get that song, All I Want for Christmas Is the Leafs to Win the Cup. We should have that played in Toronto, don't you think?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean that'd be a great song to be played on commercials when they're when there's Leaf games on TV. Maybe we can get the Leafs organization to sponsor that.
Well, I think maybe it's because we did the video. We had paper bags in our heads.
It is a funny video. It's a great video. It's put together really well. Who helped you do that video?
That was Brent that did that for me.
No wonder it's so humorous.
Excuse me just for 2 minutes. I got to do something over here.
No problem.
Right back.
All right. So Brian's just going to take a break for a second here. And I'll maximize that. When you can come back here, then we'll just go for that. This album is tracking great already. We're talking well over 50,000 streams now between the first 2 tracks released off the album. Stuck in the 80s and Fast and Furious. 2 great songs off that album. And very, very different, right? Very, very different in terms of the writing styles of the songs and the way the songs are played. And you can definitely tell, Fast and Furious has that Motorhead influence. And of course, Helix toured with Motorhead at one time. We're talking about the album Scrap Metal that is due out January 23rd, this Friday. And it's already a top 80 seller on Amazon.com.
And let somebody in there. Sorry about that.
No problem. There he is. I'm going to put him back up there. You are, buddy. Are you sitting outside or in a sunroom?
Pardon?
Are you in a sunroom there?
Am I what?
In a sunroom.
The sunroom's behind me. Actually, it's called the lanai.
Oh,
That's in
there
the
we
front of
go.
the house, not the back.
There we go. Um,
It's
so I
cold
mean,
down here, believe it or not.
today
It gets
it's
warm
cold
during the
down
day,
there.
of course. I was out
Really?
golfing this morning, and it was hot when we were out there golfing, but it's been windy and coolish.
It's been
Global
cold
warming.
here. You guys are getting a part of our polar vortex because we're going to get like down to minus 30 here.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah, I mean, the other night I took the dog out for his walk, and I think it was pretty short because I don't think he liked being out there. It was cold.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
You know, when you come back and you're dragging the dog, he's frozen.
no, he
I
was.
came back from up north, and my cat and dog were waiting for me at the door. I walked
I
both of them.
our golden retrievers love the snow. They go out and they'll lay in the snow.
Same with the Sheltie.
Yeah, they just love it.
Sheltie's like cold.
My dogs pants all summer, but hardly ever in the winter. Go figure. Listen, this album is doing really, really great. We got 2 tracks out already on this album, Stuck in the 80s and Fast and Furious. There's another 10 tracks that are going to be available when this goes live on the 23rd.
And once again, let me remind you, we're asking fans this Friday, if you're in the United States, right, order it through Paris Records. That's Paris Records, because we want to get it up as high as we can, and it's 80 on Amazon. So the more sales we get through Paris Records, the higher it goes on that Amazon chart. So
I'm just going to type it into the. Actually, I'll find it here and I'll post it into the links, Brian, for
thank
people
you
so
very
that
much.
they can go on it. So Tom Mathers has been really instrumental in helping launch this album. And he's done a whole lot of great promo for its release and got you a ton of radio time and interviews. It's just been amazing.
Tom and I have been friends since the 90s when I first started selling my own records. And I actually sang on Tom's band's record called Cherry Street. And the album was called, get this, Buster Cherry. But it was a pretty good album. And since then, you know, I every time I come up with an album, I license it to Tom. And Tom has got great distribution through Selecta Hits, which is the old Sam Phillips label, which, as everybody knows, was Sun Records with Elvis Presley and Johnny Cash and Carl Perkins. And that label was bought out by Columbia eventually. But Tom's been around for a long time, and he knows how to work a record. And he has distribution across Europe and the United States. And I always stick with Tom. What sold me and Tom Mathers was we did a festival called the South Texas Rock Festival one time in, I think it was outside of San Antonio. Could be mistaken about that. But anyway,
Right.
Tom walked through the audience with a big cardboard sign saying, "Band will sign autographs at the end of the show at the merch booth." I thought, any guy from the record company that will do that, he's A-okay with me. And he's an honest guy. He works really, really hard for the band. He used to do a lot of bands, but now he only does a couple bands a year, so he can really focus on those bands. And we're lucky enough to be one of those bands. So I think the last one was the guitar player for Dangerous Toys. But buy the album through Paris Records.
One of the cool things by us doing this multi-release. I mean, you and I got a little bit in on that to help you out with the pressing of that album, and then we got Tom. Tom came to you about releasing the album on the CD, and you and I put the brakes on the digital release to help Tom out so that we drive traffic towards the CD sales first and foremost.
Well, the thing is, today the music industry is constantly evolving. It's not the same animal that it was back in the 80s when everything was in house. The band or the record company rather would put out the vinyl, and they only had really cassettes, and later on 8 tracks, I guess,
Right.
and then later on CDs. But nowadays it's so fragmented that I have my digitals with you and Indie Tunes. I do the CDs with Tom because that's all he does,
Right.
and then I do the vinyl myself. And the vinyl, I think I've always had this idea in my head that I'm going to just load up my car with albums, and I'm going to advance a tour of vinyl record stores and just go on a 2-week trip with my wife with the car full of albums, and visit every vinyl record store from here to Thunder Day. And it's all tax write-off, so have a holiday kind of and sell some albums as well. See if I can do it.
It's an interesting thing that's happening. What a phenomena. I mean, like number 80 on the selling list for CDs right now on Amazon. That's great. The digital album is about to come out. Here's an interesting thing. I did a 10% sampling at your show on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know what? Do you know what metric that I sampled?
I give up, Ken.
I must have talked to about 30 people, and I said to them, how important it is for you to have the tangible item, the CD, the album? And they're like, 100%. But we're going to download the digital album so we can listen to it as many times as we want and keep everything that we bought tangible, like the album and the CD, fully intact.
That's right. And especially albums, you spend so much time and so much money on developing the artwork for it. By the way, Jay Panasico did all the artwork for the album. And you can't really see it on a little CD. So, a lot of times people get the album, but they still want the CD because obviously you're not going to carry an album around with you everywhere, but you can do that with a CD. And I think there's still ghetto blasters out there. Can I say that? In these woke times. But there's the poster that's on the inside of the vinyl. And we got packages up on the website where when you buy the album, you also can get the CD with it.
And you can get these really cool trading cards.
And these really cool trading cards. Got all the members of the band, and they're signed and by each member. And
I love the trading cards. Remember we talked at one time, I said we should make a deck of Helix cards?
Yeah, most of those decks, though, when you get them printed up, they're all the same, like same picture on it.
Yeah.
You get, I don't know how many cards in a deck, 52 or something, 54.
Yeah, I'd want to have all individual ones.
To get every card different would be a fortune.
It'd be a fortune, and then we just have to sell them for $100 a deck.
Yeah, right.
But think about it. It's a once in a lifetime thing for the ultimate Helix collector.
Yeah. I'll go broke doing it.
Bobbleheads next.
Whenever I do projects, though, and I explain this to a lot of people, the reason that we've been around for 50 years is that I don't hilly-nilly just do this project and that project. I prioritize everything I'm doing because, part of surviving for all that time is to be economically sound when you're doing your projects. I always like when I'm going to do dates, for instance, right? If I'm going to do a couple of my own concerts, it takes an incredible amount of work, and it's a roll of the dice. And you can lose thousands and thousands of dollars if nobody shows up. So I always try to surround them with other gigs that I know I'm going to make money. But on projects, I'm always costing it out and making sure that I'm not going to lose my shirt, because if I lose my shirt and I got no money to do the next project, then there is no next project.
Right.
And it takes money to record, it takes money to do music. And nowadays, especially, it's somewhat of a vanity project to keep going. And a lot of artists just don't do it. It's,
our goal is to help you recoup those investments because, it makes it more worth the while because it becomes a way that it funds itself because you got a lot of music left in you, brother.
Well, like I said, the reason I got into the music business in the first place was to write songs and to perform, and as long as I can do it and not lose money, I'm going to keep doing it. My voice in good shape. I think I, have another 10 years left in my voice, hopefully. I am singing pretty raunchy rock and roll, and luckily I learned bel canto earlier in my career because I lost my voice in 1976. I was told I would never sing again, and so my manager sent me to Edward Johnson in Hamilton, and he taught me how to sing with the bel canto technique. And it took years and years and years, and I'm still learning, even after doing it so many years. But
You were able to
getting,
heal your vocal nodes, though, weren't you?
excuse me.
You were able to heal your vocal nodes because you had vocal nodes at one point, right?
We don't really heal them. What happens is they go away if you take the tension off the area around your thyroid cartilage, which is your Adam's apple, essentially, where your vocal cords or vocal folds are located. Nodes or polyps that people like Adele have, or Rod Stewart, or Tom Jones. It's because when the air passes between your vocal cords like this, that's not sexual. When,
Right.
when the air passes between your vocal folds and they tap together, when singers get up in high notes, because they have to vibrate their vocal cords at an incredible frequency, something like 1,000 times a second to hit a high C, for instance.
Right.
And get all that tension happening because your vocal cords are right in the middle of all that tension. They strike each other too violently, and they swell up along the inner edges, and you lose the top part of your range first because the swelling you get from smacking the shit out of your vocal cords, it acts like a weight, and it slows down the frequency of vibration. Hence, you normally use your high notes first. And if you continue doing that on a regular basis, which especially back in the 70s when you were singing 6, 7 nights a week, right? What happens is your body goes, whoa, hold on. And your body sets up a defense mechanism to protect your vocal cords. You develop these little things called nodes or polyps, which essentially are just a callus.
Well, and you
And
sang
just
in smoke-filled rooms too, though, right?
excuse me,
You sung in smoke-filled rooms too.
sung in smoke-filled rooms, and I smoked too myself. I smoked something like 3 packs of cigarettes a day back then, and we were drinking and partying and not living the most healthy of lifestyles. So it all takes a toll on your voice. It's all going to show up in your voice first.
Right.
Nowadays, I take care of myself. I usually walk 5 miles before noon with my dog. Here I go back at Caloosahatchee Nature Trail. It's all palm trees and giant white cedars, and you're walking through the jungle, and I'm just chilling, man.
Two
Dog,
two
I
lessons
love it. I
tonight.
listen to podcasts and listen to music sometimes while I'm walking along.
Two lessons I'm learning from you tonight that I want to pass on to younger musicians who might be watching the show. And you said one earlier on. Listen back to what you're playing to make sure your songs remain recognizable, that there's integrity in them.
Yeah, like some bands from my era, and I'm not going to go into who, but you go to concerts sometimes, you go, that song sounds familiar. Oh yeah, I didn't realize they were doing that song. They got it tuned down first
Right.
off so low so the singer can sing, and then they've changed all the parts, and I'm pretty sad. People go to the show to see the song that they remember from the radio or from the turntable or from the CD or from wherever, but the recording. So they don't really want you to vary too far from that, or they don't want you to go into a wild jam session unless you're the Grateful Dead. I've heard people complain so many times that they'll go and see a band to hear their hits, and the band refuses to play their hits. And I guess it's fine if you advertise that you're not going to do that, but when fans get surprised, they get pissed off. You're there, the fans come first, and when we do the set, we do our hits, but then we spice it up with a few new songs, maybe, or we play something that we haven't played in a long time. The other day we played "Does a Fool Ever Learn?" Played "Heavy Metal Cowboys." I always play those songs. By the way, that's why I had the little horse there.
Heavy Metal Cowboys. That was such a fun choice to end the set. I really liked it.
Yeah, and it's a story of the band that kind of sums up what we went through back in those days. We broke down after a gig in Yuma, Arizona, and we had to drive to San Diego, and then I was flying up to Vancouver for a record release at A&B Records in Vancouver, and I was also doing a Much Music interview with Terry David Mulligan and interviews. But anyway, that song is a story of everything that happened to us about breaking down and hooking back up in San Francisco, and then driving from there to Vegas to continue playing. I got a lot of it on film too. And the funny thing, the really odd thing was that I had film at home that was never developed. And after Paula passed away, I went and got the film developed, but the sound didn't come out. And when I thought, well, maybe I can take this footage and put it to the song. Well, I ended up putting the song over top of the footage, and it fit perfect with no edit. I think I made maybe one edit, and it was kind of hair stood up on my arms.
Wow. Mark Chutchkin says, Heavy Metal Cowboys, one of my faves. Great song to play.
Yeah.
Mark's
you got guy from Windsor. He used to be in the United Snakes, which my wife thinks is a great name.
Yeah, Snakes.
And Mark's got a great voice, great guitar player, nice guy.
That's the thing that
everybody in my band great.
That's the thing all the guys in the band bring with them. You've got a bassist that sings, you've got two guitar players that sing. So you guys can pull off those 4-part harmonies quite nicely.
That's great. We're not really known for our vocals, but Helix has always had fantastic 4-part harmony. And everybody up front is really a lead singer, Chris, Mark, Daryl, myself. And we work hard on our harmonies to make them sound good. Once again, Daryl is a practice Nazi.
And the guitar harmonies.
They got to sing it by themselves, and then they got to sing it with everybody else. In the early days of the band, nobody sang except me. And then when Bill Sipe entered the picture as our manager, he used to force us to stand around in a circle. And the first song we ever learned to harmonize to was Round Round by the Beach Boys. Round, right. Round, get around, I get around.
Yep.
Round, I get around. And everybody had to sing their part separately. So you couldn't kind of hide behind somebody else's vocal. And that's how we learned to harmonize. And by harmonizing in a room off stage before the show every night, when we went on stage, we just naturally blended, because a lot of times you can't hear the other people singing. And we just did it naturally because we did it. And we carried that on, by the way, right up into till the time Brent left. I remember going over songs like Sweet Mademoiselle. We didn't actually play that song live, but we used to go over the harmonies in the dressing room. We started to learn more challenging vocal songs to practice to. And Brent was always in charge of conducting the affairs with the vocals.
It's really funny because not necessarily funny, but it's really neat the way that you guys build your harmonies across the stage, because when you guys were doing Fast and Furious, and Chris does that high metal scream at the end of that.
Get up there?
Yeah, so I got that on video, and I posted it today as a reel, and it's trending right now on Facebook.
He's Helix's Freddie Mercury.
I never knew his voice,
and he does it effortlessly. I can't do that.
His voice went so freaking high. That was like that. That's like high tenor.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
he's a great guitar player too.
That was amazing. I mean, you know, and the thing is, You really have, and you said this on Sunday. You said, "Haven't I got a great band here?" And you do.
And another thing to do with the vocals is that, you know, back when we recorded a lot of these songs, we'd be in the studio and I'd say to my manager, I'd say to the other guys, I go, I'm singing both parts. You know what I mean? Like, I just can't physically do this. Like, where am I going to get my breath? Right? Because a lot of stuff is really, really high. And they go,
Right.
don't worry about it. We'll figure it out when we play live, right? And they never did. I used to just kill myself. I had my balls falling off out there. And nowadays, Daryl has it that they cover for me. Like they do maybe the block harmonies in the chorus, and I just sing the scats in between. It's a hell of a lot easier to sing that way when I'm not trying to do every part.
It's a lot easier on a singer because you're singing all the way through and you're trying to get your breath just so, and you don't stand still on the stage, Brian. You move.
Yeah, and I don't think of myself being 70 years old, but I am 70 years old. So, when you're running around, the thing that killed me the other night though was the smoke machine. I don't know if you got that.
You mentioned it in the show, yeah.
I think I said I quit smoking when I was 38 years old, and I said tonight I've smoked 4 packs of cigarettes. 4 packs just being up here with that damn smoke machine. Turn it off.
It's funny if they had fans blowing it away from the stage where it just didn't hang there all the time, it'd probably be better.
They like to do it because it enhances the lights when you got smoke, right? But
right,
it kills me as a singer because it's they're all oil based, a lot of those things too, right?
Yeah, so
hangs in your throat, right?
Yeah, you don't want that messing with your throat, that's for sure.
No, we used to have flash pods back in the day too. Those were something else. Homemade flash pods. We'd make a metal kind of can, and then we'd run a wire like to be a little bottle cap in there. We'd load it up with 3X gunpowder, and then they'd throw a charge through a kaboom, right?
Yeah.
And a couple times we had people jump on stage and that weren't supposed to be there and got blown up, kind
of. That can be dangerous.
The best time though was we were playing a van in Forest, Ontario, and Dale, our lightman, who just actually passed away last year, a great guy. Dale the Pale, we called him, but Dale just loaded this thing up as far as it would go. And when it went off, there was all these people sitting on the ground in front of us, about 1,000 people, and the friggin' thing went like a frisbee right above their head like this, eh? Metal.
Shrapnel, not good thing.
Shrapnel.
We got someone from Mexico saying hello.
From Mexico, really?
From Mexico, yeah. So pretty
That's
cool.
Great.
You guys, we were talking about this earlier. Right now, Helix music is being heard in the last 28 days, has been heard in 131 countries around the world.
Cool. Very cool.
That's massive distribution, brother.
It is.
And
record though, not just listen.
And in that process, we end up looking at your top 10 countries. And it's interesting. The United States doubles the next listening country, Canada, by almost double.
Mm-hmm.
So you have almost twice as many listeners in the United States as you have in Canada. So I don't know. U.S. tour, maybe.
Be nice if we get on one of those.
Well, if anybody out there knows anybody.
To Tom Mather's pushing us down there through Paris Records. And you with the digital downloads, Spotify.
Right. Maybe a couple of shows in Texas and then finish off at the Whiskey.
We played the Whiskey.
I know you did many years ago.
We don't play clubs too often though anymore. We play mostly casinos, festivals. The east side that we did for the release party was an exception to the rule because it's my hometown. George that owns the bar, I got the utmost respect for George because he keeps rock and roll alive in London, Ontario. A lot of bars have gone belly up, and they're not there anymore. But George has been there supporting rock in the city, Forest City, for many, many years now, and it's a tough road to hoe. And I
We
told him
talked
that
about that
too.
before the show. We talked about that before the show and the support that you've gotten from George over the years. And he's, he's got a great venue there. They got great production. It's a nice place to showcase.
Staff's great too. The techs that work there and the actual waiters, but they're all friends of mine. I walk in there, I see them, say hello
Right.
whenever I'm at home, and they always treat me good.
And you got, and you have a real loyal team of people that you work with. I mean, Neil Fensky is another guy that you work with quite a bit.
He's my regular sound man, and he's just such a great sound man. I don't know what to say. We did the boat cruise a couple of years ago. I think I told you this, and I think Faster Pussycat come up to me afterwards and went, "How come we can't sound like that?"
There you go, right?
Well, you can't. All you got to do is hire Neil and bring him all the way down from Regina, Saskatchewan.
Well, and he's the kind of guy that
every time he works for us, I fly him in from Regina.
He's the kind of guy that he knows your songs, he knows your show, he knows where things are supposed to go in the front of the house mix.
He's a guitar player himself, so I think that gives him an advantage.
Right.
Just like producers like Mutt Lang, I think because they're songwriters and they play an instrument, it just makes them that much better. They're so much more rounded, let's say.
He made that sound system over at East Side Sing.
Yep, he did.
And you guys, you guys put on a great show. Anybody that was at that show, you got your money's worth and then some awesome merch. And something you guys do that impresses me. You guys have never charged VIP or anything like that to do a meet and greet with the band. If people come to your merch booth, they get to meet you guys and stuff like that.
I always tell people they can come up to the merch booth, get whatever they want signed. They don't have to buy anything, take pictures with us, shake our hands, tell stories. Sometimes it's hard to move people along, and I feel kind of uncomfortable trying to give them the bums rush. But there's always a long lineup at the merch booth.
I've heard that you guys have signed women's breasts.
Keep people waiting too long in the lineup.
Is it true that you guys signed women's breasts?
Yeah, well, the breasts we signed in 1984 now are about a foot longer. So.
Oh man, you are going into your 6th decade as a band. I mean, 52 years. Here we are later, right?
Yeah. 51 years.
10 plus decades. I mean, and again, I just want to, Brian, you are the glue that has held this band and brand together all these years.
Thank you.
People don't realize the legacy that you're leaving here, and you're living a great legacy, a great musical legacy of a band that, in my estimation, should have been on Canada's Walk of Fame by now, should be in Canada's Walk of Fame. And there was a question that somebody gave me the other night. I didn't have a full answer for it. Maybe you do. Does that have anything to do that you guys were originally signed to an American label?
Oh, I don't think so. Who knows? Who knows
Right.
what the reason?
So you don't think that would hold any credence at all?
Well, I think that we never really went to Toronto. Some bands took the attitude that, to make it in Toronto, you had to kind of move there and be close to the record company. Same thing with Los Angeles, though, too. And at one time, Bill Sipe, my manager, and Pendergast, who managed Honeywood Suite, they went down and I think they live right, down at what's that beach called outside of Los Angeles. And I used to, so they could be there every day and actually be in person, meeting the record company people. They thought it was important to get things accomplished. But I don't really know what the reason is. I don't try to analyze it too much. I don't really even care too much, the truth. I have gold and platinum albums on my wall, but the important thing is the support of my fans and our friends that buy our records and listen to our music, and that's really what matters in the long run.
It's really interesting. Do you remember a band out of London called Johnny and the Canadians?
No.
So that was by a guy in St. Thomas. His name is Johnny Stevens, and they were one of the first bands in Canadian history to get signed to the American side of a label as well. They got signed to Capitol Records in 1965.
Well, Capitol Records used to have a plant, I think, in London, Ontario, and I used to have a record box that said Capitol Records on it, and I actually gave it to the Capitol Records Museum. It was given to me by Randy Haywood that does merch for us, and Randy had found it at an auction sale. I think there was some stuff in it, not records or anything, but he gave me the box, and I had the box for the longest time. It's probably worth money. He even had the shipping sticker on it, and I donated it to Capitol. I gave it to Dean Cameron, who's now passed away. But Dean was the president of Capitol Records for many years and responsible for signing Anne Murray to the label and Stomp and Tom Connors, people like that.
There it is, Scrap Metal. It's out January 23rd, this Friday. You can get it wherever music is sold. Go to parisrecords.com. Check them out for the CDs. The digital release comes out this Friday. You can get the digital download album exclusively at indietunes.com. Helix/Helix Music. That's where their music lives on our website. And you're going to see a whole lot more music there.
The vinyl is available through the Helix website.
That's right.
The vinyl is red, translucent vinyl. It's got the poster on the inside. It's got the playing card signed by all the band members, plus Sean Kelly, Brent Turner, who was the doctor, and Caleb the Duck Man.
There it is right there in red vinyl.
Looks nice, eh?
Ah, it's beautiful.
Package. And we got it at a reasonable price as well. I got one of the few signed copies of Gary Borden's Sign It, though. There you go. So
this will be my collector's thing down the road.
But I go to past Sunrise Records, as I was saying, in White Oaks Mall in London, and records are a lot more money. We've got it reasonably priced, I think, at $35, and then you can get packages where there's extra stuff.
Right.
But I always try to keep it down. I don't want to gouge the fans.
Check the album out on Planet Helix. For
me, it's more important to get the money out there, because really, where I make money for the band is off live gigs. So in order to do that, you want the music out there, because that's what draws the people in.
That's
right.
My
priority.
Well, thanks for joining me tonight on the show, Brian. We got to have you back on again. It's awesome having you here, and thanks for joining me. A lot of people watching us online tonight. Check out Helix at planethelix.com. You can get things like tour dates and all that cool stuff as it develops. Jay's working on a really cool store on there for Brian. And
we got some festivals coming up this summer. One of the biggest ones out in Halifax on August 14th, I believe, with Lee Aaron. And we played that. It's called Rock the Harbor. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. Halifax, a beautiful city. So
all right. Thanks again for joining me tonight. Remember, everybody, this has been The Indie Show. That guy over there, that's Brian Vollmer. I'm Kenny. And